I'm delighted to be joined on the show now by the head coach of the Indian team, Graham Reid, from the national camp in Bengaluru, where the side is preparing for that test event in Tokyo. Welcome to Wion, Graham. It has been a few months now for you in the hot seat. What has the experience of managing India been like so far? The media hasn't really had the opportunity to interview you until now. Can you talk to us about what made you take up this assignment?
Yeah, thanks very much for having me on. Yeah, look, I think the history of Indian hockey has, as an Australian, I grew up in Queensland, but I've spent the last 25 years or so in Western Australia, and there are a lot of Anglo-Indian hockey players or previous hockey players in that state, and therefore there is a lot of Indian influence in the way that Australia plays. And I think it's every coach's dream to come to India and try and get India back on top of world hockey. And so that was certainly my passion behind it, my passion for hockey. But also I've been watching Indian hockey from afar and also closer in these last few years. And it's great to have an opportunity to coach the team.
Now, having assessed Indian hockey, Graham, from the outside in your previous roles, what do you think has been the reason for the team falling short in some high-profile matches over the last 2 or 3 years? The Commonwealth Games, the Asian Games, the World Cup. Is it a technical issue, a skills deficit, perhaps a mentality problem, in your opinion?
Oh, look, I think it's probably a mixture of all three, and I don't think India is the only team that has that history in the last 10 years or so. I mean, if you look at Belgium, 10 years ago, they were nowhere in world hockey, and in their last 10 years, they've been very close. Have missed out on they came second in the Olympic Games, and they finally won a World Cup. But it's taken a long time for that to happen. And so I think if you look at that, then I think India is coming along, and we just need to focus on all of those components that you mentioned, because it's like a cake. There are lots of different ingredients that go towards success. Unfortunately, no one has the answer as to which is the one, so you have to make sure that you have all the T's crossed, all the I's dotted, and that's what I'm trying to do.
A cake, that's an interesting analogy, Graham. You've been working with the players at the national camp in Bengaluru. There have been a few consultants linking up for specific roles. Is the focus on improving skills in one-on-one situations?
Yeah, of course. We've had a lot of different, or we've had 2 or 3 different camps in the last 3 months. One first was strikers, the next was goalkeepers, and of course you always need to be improving that area of the game. But also we had a defensive camp at the beginning of this one, and it was really important that these guys understand how important tackling, how important one-on-one defence is, and that certainly at both ends of the pitch, in the getting goals and attacking, but also at the other end of the pitch, the goalkeeping and the defensive work. So yes, we've been doing a lot of work in those areas.
Graham, the players that you have inherited have worked with Dutch coaches, Australian coaches, and even Indian coaches. That is quite a number of different styles. What sort of approach do you want to implement? Is unlearning some old habits an important part of your advice to the players, or are you looking to develop on the existing base?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because I think all of us are sums of our experience and what we have experienced, and these guys have been lucky enough to be involved with a lot of great world coaches over the years. And I think my plan is to not change too much, but tweak it into the areas that I like to. And for example, a really high press game and trying to put pressure on the opposition, and a fast moving quality game. I think a lot of those things, we have the basics for that. So now we just need to tweak those and get them better.
Let's look ahead now, Graham, off to the test event in Japan, and some important changes to the look of the squad. Some senior players are being rested. There are some new faces and some returning players as well. Can you talk us through the mix that you've chosen?
Yeah, look, it's one of the things your previous question was about how do we need to unlearn or whatever. The first thing that I need to do is to learn about the players that I have, because if we are to take advantage of the strengths of our team, then I need to know it. So there are a fair few people within this group that I haven't seen, and now hopefully we get an opportunity. Someone like Sunil is coming back. He's been away with injury for a fair while, so it's good to see him back in the team. And there are a few younger guys who have not had an opportunity to play for India, and I think that's always important. I think it's always good to have a great mix of junior players and senior players. Yes, maybe this is a little bit more of a junior team, but also it gives us an opportunity to also have a look at Tokyo and see how things are preparing there as well. So I'm looking forward to the tour.
All right, we leave it at that for now. Graham Reid, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and all the best for what is a crucial 3 months or so coming up for you and the team.
Thanks for having us. See you later.